What's up guys? It's me again, Marjorie, and welcome back to my vlog. So this is our third discussion and we are going to discuss my reflection about the Rizal's Talism for National Stupidity, Clara M. Recto and Rizal Bill, the Rizal Law RA 1425 and its precedents, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, the Vision of Father Rodriguez by telephone, and Rizal's letter for Father Pastels SJ. So let's begin to the Rizal's Talism for National Stupidity. Historical people are used as talismans for national stupidity because they reflect the goals and hopes of our country. They operate as guiding lights and were essential in shaping a person's character. In other words, heroes may be equated to the soul and consciousness of a country. Their values, deeds, and convictions serve as guidelines for proper group behavior. Rizal has the freedom to pursue his own goals, no matter what he decides to accomplish in order to advance our country and increase the productivity of our people. Rizal also presented the opportunity to support our country and secure our independence, even though death was already inevitable. His life's work is serving our country, and he carries that out. I am so amazed that Rizal made the decision to stand up for our country and took the patriot's path. Some members of our culture are unaware of the meaning of life. Due to the social pressure among other factors, they basically squandered their lives. We ought to value and provide meaning to our lives. I ever work as a law enforcement officer because it gives my life meaning. I'll surely choose to serve my nation like Rizal did. Understanding a country's identity as a people therefore necessitates looking at how its heroes are seen and developed in the public discourse. Through their heroes, a people may display their ideals, and if that the case, which I have no doubt it is, then how we today see Jose Rizal and his legacy doesn't speak well of us. I do concur with Rizal's belief since, as residents of our country, it is imperative that we live in peace both inside and outside of our homes. I believe that happiness comes from having calm mind. So the second one is the Claro M. Recto and the Rizal Bill, the Rizal Law, Republic Act 1425 and its precedents. So, the Republic Act number 1425 is often known as the Rizal Law. The law's full title and act to include the curricula of all public and private school, colleges, and universities, on the lives, works, and writings of Jose Rizal, particularly his novels Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, authorizing the printing and distribution thereof and other purposes, requires educational institutions across the country to offer a course on the hero's life, accomplishments, and writings, particularly his novels. The concept, however, was opposed strongly, particularly by the Catholic Church, making it impossible for it to pass from being a bill to being a Republican Act. Due in major part to the issue, Senator Claro M. Recto, who was the main supporter of the Rizal Bill at the time, even came to bear the labels of a communist and an anti-Catholic. But after some modifications, the church finally agreed, which led to the law's approval. In accordance with the agreement, high school students and students at lower levels would receive a less objectionable version, and college students would only receive the complete work. The statute's major objective was to highlight Jose Rizal's bravery on his life's work of informing Filipinos about the atrocities committed by the Spanish when they were in the Philippines. A person's passion in their country is sparked by Rizal. His narrative focuses non-violent, freedom-seeking resistance to an oppressive, oppressive state, how he was able to bring attention to the problems of his people on a worldwide scale without seeking help. In the end, he was more successful in relying support from his fellow people than the guerrillas. Guerrillas. He was able to arm the guerrillas as a result of the task he accomplished. The law, in my opinion, is essential since ideals, since it deals with important historical occurrences. The historical figures when drove the Spanish out of the country are to blame. Understanding history is important, especially in light of current events in our country. The third one is Noli Me Tangere. The main character in Noli Me Tangere made numerous sacrifices because he was committed to helping his nation and fellow citizens to have a better future. Rizal wrote exactly what he had hoped his fellow Filipinos and would accomplish to free the Philippines because literature is a mirror of culture. To defend Filipino people from foreign accusation of foolishness and lack of knowledge, to show how the Filipino people lives during Spanish colonial period and the cries and woes of his countrymen against abusive officials, to discuss what religion and belief can really do to everyday lives. Noli Me Tangere by Jose Rizal urges us to consider the impact of our belief and actions on our nations. The novel's fundamental theme promotes nationalism and accept change in ourselves remain relevant to us today. So, the moral of the stories of Noli Me Tangere is that the people should run their government, not the other way around. The strength comes from the sheer number of people who wish to correct an injustice or speak up for those who are silenced. His book served as the momentum for the Filipino people's approaching capacity to demand freedom and independence. His work served as a tool for unifying the national identity and consciousness of the Filipino people. Noli Me Tangere by Rizal and its follow-up, El Filibusterismo, caused a lot of controversy and are now part of history. So, speaking of El Filibusterismo, let's proceed to the El Filibusterismo. This book reveals to us just how nasty and vile the Spaniards were. However, it also discusses the bravery of the Filipino population. It demonstrates the unspeakable bravery of our compatriots in their struggle against Spanish avarice or cupidity and brutality. In terms of moral lesson, El Filibusterismo is what I choose over Noli Me Tangere. El Filibusterismo showed us the power that rage and retaliation have over a person. The interaction between Ibarra and Father Florentino also makes me very happy. El Fili and Noli Me Tangere seeks to educate society and bring Filipinos closer to the truth. In this book, society is pushed to face truth and revolt against the oppressive and abusive actions of the Spanish government. The political novel El Filibusterismo was fantastic. It was actually a book of thoughts. Similar to Noli Me Tangere, it emphasized the atrocities committed by the Spaniards against the Filipino in terms of how they oppressed, mistreated, and subjugated the local populace. So the fourth one is we are going to discuss the vision of Father Rodriguez. Jose Rizal's La Vision del Fray Rodriguez describes a conversation between Saint Augustine and Augustinian friar Jose Rodriguez, in which the priest is reprimanded by the saint for his anti-priesthood sentiments and actions. Furthermore, he details the abusive the priest did was acting in the name of the Catholic Church. Saint Augustine goes on to make extensive criticism on the friars' ignorance of Christian doctrines and tenets. Saint Augustine mocks him by writing so that the world would laugh at him, shaming his stubbornness combined with foolishness as a sort of penance. He has a detrimental influence on other people. Being alive today is a huge blessing because abusive situations were not as common in the past. In such situation, I would opt to defy him rather than follow his directions. He may want me to behave poorly, but I won't put up with it. It's not really good that there are still people in our community who influence others to do bad things, especially if doing so would put them in danger. In reality, Augustinian friar Jose Rodriguez claimed that Rizal's book spread heretical ideas in his publications, Questions de Sumo Interes and Kaingat Kayo, and other works. The priest's claims were met with ridicule in Rizal's response. In the year 1889, he made it available in Barcelona. It was only made public after being released in secret because of how delicate this is to friars. The Spanish government had already ordered their destruction and confiscation, which severely limited the amount of flyers that the Philippines could use. The way the Filipinos came to value honesty was gently influenced by Saint Augustine. So the sixth one is by telephone. While in Madrid, Father Font utilizes a phone line set up by the Transoceanic Telephone Co. to speak with the local priest at San Agustin Monastery. Por Telefono is a book about the conversation between Father Font in Madrid and the local priest at San Agustin Monastery. The entire population of St. Augustine wept, and the friars beat their breasts and scourged one another to carry out penance, and rewrote tiny Salvador Cito Tony's soul. In the middle of the excitement in the convert of St. Augustine, Salvador Cito Tony, who was phoning from Madrid, called out like a good lad. Friars have a high social rank and hold a lot of authority. They manage Catholic churches and dominate politics as seen by the explosion of Rizal's father and other family members. They act exceedingly unjustly and misuse their power in favor of this notion. The fact that they also receive donations from Ilustrados makes them even pleased to achieve in life. We must educate ourselves and practice moral behavior. The friars in Rizal's day would not have come under fire if they had been nice to the Filipinos, especially in Rizal. So the last one is the Rizal's letter for Father Pastels, SJ. So SJ, the first letter Rizal sent to Father Pastels. Rizal thanks Father for his assistance. Pastel for the precious gift, a book written in Sardinian. Rizal claims that Sarda is a gifted polemicist who can successfully communicate his ideas to a certain social strata. Tell him to stop being a fool and to stop looking at his situation through the lens of his own value and opinion. But since God must have endowed him with his faculties for a reason, I don't believe it's immoral for a person to evaluate his or her own life through the prism of their own judgment and self-esteem. Rizal expresses the love, evaluation, and judgmental lens in this manner. If we kept choosing the same course of action, we would have to use our own judgment, or we would end up becoming wise men in each other's houses. I believe that the greatest gift that God has given a person in exchange for their righteousness and perfection is their feeling is self-worth. He is prevented from engaging in a great deal of law and pointless behavior when he loses sight of the moral principles he has learned or been imbued with. So I find self-esteem in particular to be admirable when it is not intense, similar to how the tree raises its head up to capture the light. The sap is what causes this. It is equivalent to the power used to propel a steamship when at sea. Without a doubt, it has to be restrained or regulated by logic. I believe that man is the apex of perfection in terms of creation. He cannot be disfigured by losing any of his components, whether they be physical or moral. So that's all for my vlog, and have a nice day.